I used to be a big fan of my Triumph Tiger 1200. It was a 21 plate XRT. That bike took me everywhere. I had so many great trips in it. It was out in Sweden and all sorts, and I loved it. I completely loved it. It was getting up to 56,000 miles, there or thereabouts, and I thought it was time for me to have a change. I know loads of people were talking about the BMWs, so I always used to say I would never become a GS wanker. I am now probably the biggest GS wanker of the lot. I went into the dealership. I thought, let's have a wee look at all this and see what all the fuss is about. And as I was there, this one was getting wheeled off the lorry. An express bike. I think it only had about 900 miles on the clock, if even that actually. And they did me a corker of a deal. That's the Motorrad Central in Dalkeith. These guys are outstanding. I love dealing with them. I have a lot of trust in them. They've been looking after my bike, and yeah, and in terms of making the decision about whether to go for BMW or stay with Triumph, that in itself was a no-brainer. Having the relationship with the dealer. I don't know how they do it, but it's quite nice that even if you don't see them for weeks, you walk in and they call you by name and they make you feel pretty, make the whole thing feel pretty personal. So yeah, really appreciate that. Wanted to know what it was like to manhandle the bikes, you know, wheel them around manually. All the weights on these bikes are right down the bottom, so they're easy as anything to wheel around, which was a big selling point, given my Triumph was very top heavy. My Tiger, it always wanted to fall over at low speeds. Anyhow, I really wrestled, and I thought, right, yes, let's go with it. So I put the deposit down on this bike, subject to a test ride. But I wasn't going to be test riding this bike. It was going to be test riding their demonstrator. So off I went to the dealer, met one of my pals, Graham there. He was going to come out with me. Really appreciated that, Graham. Went out for a jolly, so took on the stock, or the demonstrator bike, and I don't know, I didn't fall absolutely in love with this bike. I think it's because I was coming off a premium Triumph and the Tiger Explorer. It wasn't a leap up, it was almost like a move to the side, and it wasn't a bad experience. I had a great experience on the bike, but it wasn't like much better than the Tiger. However, it was enough to commit to the purchase, and I decided to go ahead. And then I spent the next few days absolutely giddy about picking this bike up. So yeah, it was great. Now I got to work on taking all of my aftermarket parts off my Tiger, cleaning all the stickers and everything else off the panniers, getting the bike into good nick. Go to the dealers, I was trading that one in against this. Guys did me a really good solid in this bike in terms of a deal. I was very sad riding my bike, the lady in red, back to, or code to the dealer. And then it was November time, 21. The roads were salty and thick with salt actually. Very cold weather. I went to pick this bike up, and it was in the showroom looking amazing. Like, the photographs they gave me was just like spectacularly new. It was like, it was shiny, and oh, it was awesome. Panniers, brand new panniers on it, nice and clean. However, it was within 5 minutes, I was nearly crying as I was riding home. Salt was getting everywhere on my new Pride and Joy, and my panniers were caked with salt by the time I got back home. I was on Metzler's, I think it was Touran's Metzler's or whatever tyres that were on this bike when I first got it, and I hated it. I really thought that it was a worse ride than the demonstrator. I was so disappointed. I was really sad that I'd made the move and felt I made a massive mistake. There was lots to get used to though. How the bike handled, the distribution of weight, The moving from a twin or triple to a twin, but the tyres, I just had no faith in them. I had a couple of twitchy moments going round bends, didn't like it. However, I changed my tyres over and I started riding this thing like I believed I could. I think that was it. There was lots of trepidation before, and I started committing to bends and really sort of going and riding this thing like I believe it's designed to be ridden. And oh my God, what a difference. I completely fell in love with her, Betty, and I knew that we were going to have many, many happy memories. And sure enough, that's exactly what's happening. I have not looked back. This bike is so good. So comfortable. It's just awesome, and it's such a safe bike to ride. The delivery of power from the engine is smooth, it's consistent, it's not snatchy or twitchy, it's just so well balanced, so amazing, and I can go all day, 600 or 700 miles in the saddle, and I'm fine, nice and comfortable. So yeah, I have not looked back. I love it, still got a smile on my face. This bike, it'll be 3 years this November that I've had it. I've got no intention of getting rid of it, I don't think. There's the new 1300 models of the GS's out now, and I don't know, I know it's dividing the motorcycle community. It's just the GS that's out at the moment. That front end with the radar and the crisscross headlamp, I don't know if I like that. It certainly has grown on me. I like the colour, the green and gold colour scheme's nice in it. However, every time I step into this bike, I can't see me getting rid of it. The only other thing is potentially getting a newer version of this at the appointed hour. However, my bike is so well looked after. It's brand new, pretty much. It's got what? I say it's brand new. It's about, let me just find out what my mileage is. 29,769 miles right now. But I know all of these miles, bar 900 or so, are mine. And I don't ride like a hooligan. I absolutely look after this machine. So I know that these 30,000 odd miles are good miles. The engine's not under any strain. I haven't ramming it anywhere. So I know if somebody was buying this bike, they'd be really twitchy because of the high mileage. And that's the reality with bikes. If you're up in that level with mileage, it seems to be considered to be high. I don't know why people buy motorcycles, have them for 4 or 5 years, and put 2,000 or so miles on them. I was like, what? How are you even using it? Yeah, it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed having this bike. It's been into Europe twice. I've been up at the top of the French Alps, up at the top of the Col de la Bonnette. Pardon my French pronunciation. But it was outstanding on that whole trip. It was in Switzerland last year, taking in some of the peaks there, and it's going to be in Switzerland and Austria and Slovenia this year, and doing the West Atlantic Way, the Wild Atlantic Way anyway, the East Coast. So I've got lots of memories to build in this bike. The 1300 GS Adventure is going to have to be something special, because I don't think I can peel myself off from this. I don't know if it's just me, but it's quite real. You form a real bond with your motorcycle if you're into them. It's more than just a machine. You get a real attachment. It's been my therapy, my doctor, my making me happier. So yeah. Anywho.